that brings me to what I really want to focus on today, and I've kind of identified 5 key themes, is to be aware that technology is just the enabler. So the way that the world is changing, and in order to innovate and in order to stay ahead and anticipate what's coming, is to not necessarily get stuck in focusing on the technology, but rather in how that technology is enabling us to solve problems. 2019, what do I think is on the horizon? And again, just reiterating, I'm going to try and make it incredibly practical. So the first one is that I wear my heart on my sleeve. Who here has an Apple Watch? One person. Okay. Who's heard of an Apple Watch? Okay. Who has any connected devices at home? Meaning, let me rephrase. So what I mean by a connected device is a device that is connected to another service or device in order to track an activity that will produce some data that would help you make better decisions. Brilliant, brilliant. So that's definitely a massive theme for South Africa this year. What to look out for in 2019 is how your business, or whatever from a consumer perspective, how you can embrace the ever more connected devices. And this is a very interesting company in Stellenbosch. They employ a whole bunch of people, and they're working very vigorously on bringing all the latest sensor technology to South Africa in order to help us to make better health decisions. So I think we're going to see a lot of that, specifically in the health industry. What I wanted to add onto it is that it's obviously underpinned by data. And we hear this word data, and we all deal with data on a daily basis. But I think what the message is for the future is that data science is going to almost become like, I think a good analogy was perhaps accounting back in the day. If you wanted to go into business, your father or my father certainly told me, you have to go study finance. In the future, that's going to be the DNA that links a lot of businesses together. And over and above just businesses, it's also going to be linking our daily lives together. Message for the future, think about what some of the skills will be required that we want to encourage our younger selves to embrace. Okay, the second big theme in South Africa at the moment, and I think it's going to become even more prominent in 2019, is the on-demand delight. Who here has heard of the gig economy? Okay, so for those who haven't heard of it before, the gig economy it's defined as an economy where people work in an on-demand fashion, where you earn all the time. So we're used to building companies and earning monthly salaries. You work for one company at a time, and at the end of that month, you earn a salary. That's kind of how the commercial structures were structured in the past. But what we're seeing now is that more and more people are going towards earning in an on-demand basis. So basically deciding when you want to work and how you want to work. I'm sure everyone here is familiar with Uber. An Uber driver is a prime example of someone that works in the gig economy. They're not employed by anyone, and they work as and when they want. A lot of people in the gig economy also work on multiple platforms. So I may be a domestic worker, but I may also be a shopper. Or I may also be a babysitter. And what it allows people to do in the future is to tap into different skills and different work opportunities in a very gig-style fashion. At a higher education level, what it has brought about, so if we go up to more highly skilled individuals, is that we're seeing this brand new flexi career. And there's a lot of things that have influenced this. One being, of course, that we now have the internet and we don't have to be in the office. So this concept of a 9-to-5 lifestyle where I go into the office, I work from 9 to 5 is changing because people can work anywhere, anytime. As long as I have my computer with a Wi-Fi connection, you can work wherever you want. Another big important thing to mention is that in the past we had this ladder career management. I think some of the previous speakers mentioned it, that there was this notion of you go to school, and then you go to university, and then you go into your job, and then you become a junior, and then you become a manager, and then eventually you're an executive, and then you're 65 and you've got back problems and you retire with too little money and you can't travel and see the world. The next generation that's coming in has looked at that. They've looked at their parents and they've said, I don't want that. I don't want that life. I don't want to live like that. So we're seeing, alongside generational influence, as well as, of course, the influence that technology has brought, having options to work online and make money on the internet, as well as the rapid skills development. Some of the key things that are driving this, and I've touched on it, is, of course, online learning. Learning is changing, education is changing. They've mentioned that it's no longer just about educating and getting a degree, but about a lifelong learning experience. And all these online learning platforms are making that possible. Co-working. We're seeing plenty of co-working spaces popping up all over South Africa. People have changed. People have options. Slowly, people are seeing, as highly educated individuals, that they have a choice. Freedom and flexibility is defined by the option to have a choice. And then, of course, tools. We're seeing all the workflow tools. Who works on Google Docs? There's an economist called Thomas Friedman. I don't know who's read this book. Has anyone read The World is Flat? It's a very old book. I read it 18 years ago in my first year at university. It's a great book. If you haven't read it, it's still relevant, and they've obviously updated it. Please, go read it. It will prepare you for the future, but also make you understand how we got here. And one of the things he talks about a lot, is Globalization 3. So in Globalization 1, we had countries trading with countries. In Globalization 2, we had companies trading with companies, and we saw this rise of all these global conglomerates. And Globalization 3 is about individuals trading with individuals. And we're definitely in Globalization 3 right now. But we have challenges. It's not all without its problems. If the bigger companies are not open to work with people in an on-demand fashion, then the job opportunities have a ceiling, and there may not be enough demand. Another massive challenge is the skills development. It's all good and well that there's all these platforms and people can go and sell their skills, but if people don't have skills, they can't sell them. So the success of the gig economy in South Africa is most certainly dependent on the parallel efforts that go into the education and the skills development to equip the nation to embrace this new way of working. Another big thing that's worth mentioning, and another interesting story, I visited the MEC in Malaysia. They invited me to be part of this group of people specifically around the future of work and tapping into different platforms worldwide. And they have a phenomenal initiative at a government level, sponsored by the government, where they train and enable their people to earn multiple currencies. So just in South Africa, on Upwork, you can go and you can hire freelancers, and you'll quickly see that the dollar rates are far better than the rates that you'll get in South Africa. So for those individuals that are smart and that are forward-thinking, they're going to go sign up, create a profile, start experimenting. You've got nothing to lose. It doesn't cost you anything to sign up on the platform. And put your skills online. Of course, challenges, again, it doesn't come without it. South Africa has very strict, as we know, foreign exchange policies, and it's very difficult to receive money from the outside, but also pay people in different continents. So I think in 2019, South Africans will start seeing the benefits of earning and working on demand. What's the message we want to give to our younger selves? And I just love it. It's learn to earn. It's so important from a young age. The future of work is that you're going to be responsible more and more for your own ability to earn. And you cannot just shift that responsibility onto the organization that is employing you. It's a skill that we need to teach. It's a lifestyle. It's an encouragement of learn to earn. Not everyone is an entrepreneur, but everyone can learn to earn. I think what's really exciting for 2019 for South Africa is that a lot of work and energy and effort and funding has gone into the development of the entrepreneurial financial sector. We've seen initiatives like AlphaCode, we've seen Barclay Rise, we've seen Standard Bank, we've seen all the big financial institutions put money behind supporting young entrepreneurs to launch very new, innovative financial services and products that will hopefully bring value and lower costs to South Africa consumers. And then, of course, no trained presentation will be complete without the use of the word blockchain. We're not going to go into that, but it's something to be aware of. There's more and more applications that I do believe we're going to start seeing on blockchain beyond cryptocurrency. Don't think blockchain equals Bitcoin. There's a big difference, but I do believe that there's several applications that hopefully we're going to start enjoying the benefits of in 2019. So I believe that South Africans will start seeing different financial services powered by technologies like artificial intelligence and the blockchain that will bring, hopefully, a little bit more transparency and better service and lower fees. Okay, number 4, and I don't know how much time I have left, I'll be quick. Open door to open source. So the open source movement, it's not new. Again, it's old, but what we're seeing is that there's finally coming to light in South Africa. And very interesting, the South African government actually had a policy where they encouraged the use of open content and open standards within South Africa. So this was a great step in the right direction, coming all the way from the top to be more open. So Meetup has been one of the underlying contributors to this culture, where it's not only just about meeting up online and in these virtual chat rooms or online communities, but also bringing that back offline. And Meetup is certainly growing insanely by numbers in South Africa at the moment. These are groups, it's informal, anyone can go and create a meetup, and based on common interests, you get together to discuss things. So in 2019, I believe the South African companies who embrace open source will win. And what I would encourage our younger selves is peer-to-peer learning, community-based learning. The best way to learn, and there's several studies that have been done on this, is by doing it with other people. And that's encouraging people to join communities, join groups, hang out with someone older, someone younger, to learn in a community-style fashion. And I think there's great opportunity for entrepreneurs who want to really take this concept and bring it to some of the rural areas in South Africa, leveraging technology. And then my last theme, before I close off, is, will the robot take my job? Again, it's one of those very prominent discussions that everyone's having. It's top of mind. It's top of mind in South Africa. It's talking about this inflow of automation. I'm a firm believer that human creativity will win. A lot of people fear it, and there is a massive challenge, specifically in South Africa, around, again, skills development, that without the necessary skills development, we could run into problems with the pace that automation could be deployed and take away certain job opportunities. But certainly on the positive side, to be embraced and help people to tap into the skills that we are going to see that will be needed. Creativity, coaching, leadership, and not leadership at the top, being a leader from a young age. When you bring automation into the workplace, it's not about that your job is now becoming redundant and let's fire a bunch of people. The responsible thing to do is to circulate the skill, because someone is still going to have to operate the machine. I'm hoping that we see more and more initiatives go towards training people just how to use technology, how to be comfortable in a technical environment. It's about self-empowered learning, co-working, and that peer-to-peer learning environment, on-demand working, bringing in skills and people into the company to help facilitate that transfer of skills from one person to the next. And of course, live working, all these tools that we're seeing coming into the workplace. So in 2019, I believe that South Africans who embrace automation, flexibility, and start tapping into their innate and creative skills will step ahead in their careers. And companies who empower self-learning and invest in alternative rapid skills development will successfully automate. The future requires people to ask questions. Answers are not the problems. It's the question. It's about being able to ask the right questions. Hello to this iGeneration that's coming into the workplace, independent, instant, informal, inspired, and I'm going to end off with a quote from the Mark Shuttleworth, and it's a message for leading this ever more digital and female and connected youth in 2019. Passion drives self-education, curiosity, which is to ask questions as we enter a sensor-driven, augmented, and AI-layered world, and perseverance, to get rid of this myth that technology brings overnight success. It takes a lot of hard work. Cool. Thanks, guys. Sorry I ran over time.